So this is the first day at the bucket garden, and these are, I believe, 18 or 19 gallon buckets. It worked pretty good last year. The buckets were pretty nice size. They worked really well, and the only thing that didn't work well was my tying up the tomatoes again. So I just have to figure this out this year. We're gonna do something different. I know I got the post, but I might try this fabric mesh. You know how they have the metal ones that are expensive? These are a little less expensive. They're fabric. They're like 5 foot, and I might try that with some posts and then intermittent. My green post that I was using last year. But anyways, so this year or last year I planted 1 or 2 tomato plants in each bucket, and I also planted like 2 or 3 peppers in each bucket and 1 or 2 eggplants in each bucket. And you know what? They were fine. These buckets were large enough for 2 or 3 plants. If you notice that the nutrients were used up a little bit, the buckets aren't, they're not filled anymore. And so what we're going to do is we're going to add some dirt and topsoil to these buckets this year and give it some more nutrients. I've got a location where I can get some 4 to 5 year old horse manure, and I'll mix it with 2-year-old leaf humus, and we'll throw that on top, mix them up a bit. Again, we have our black walnut tree, which makes us put everything above ground. That's why everything is above ground here. So this year looks like it's gonna be, I just cleaned up. If you notice I don't really compost properly. I'm gonna fill that big bin you see way in the back down there. See that bin? It's just 4 pallets. And I'm just gonna fill it up, and when that gets full, I'm gonna put another bin next to it and fill that up. And then I'll just keep adding to it, and maybe 3-4 years from now I'll use it. I don't have that kind of time to be rotating soil, and if you guys want to do that, go watch some videos. There's people that just love to turn dirt. Not me. I got enough stuff going on, so I do get some free mulch. You might want to check your cities too. A lot of cities will have leaf humus that you could pick up, and it's usually free, depending on what city you live in. Just know where it's at. And your parks also have manure. I'm not sure I'm into the manure thing, especially when it's newer. You don't want to use brand new manure unless you really mix it well. So we're going to do some things different. Some of these irrigation things didn't work so well. I'm going to test this before I take it apart, because took some time. So the idea of this garden is slam bam for next year, and this year, I mean. So I'll get it all ready to go, and I might extend it 1 more pot length to the outside. These pots are much better. They're bigger. I have other gardens where I have 6-gallon ones and 4-gallon ones, and the 4-gallon ones just, I don't know, didn't produce large tomatoes. So we're going to check into that. Anyways, I do have some greens and kale coming up, and I don't know if I'm going to leave it or not. I'm going to leave it for now. And then these things here are black walnut, 1 year old. Actually, they'll be 2-year-old. And I had a bunch of buckets, and I took them to the auction and sold them. So instead of throwing away these not buckeyes, but walnuts, I just threw them in these pots, and then I just throw some dirt in there, and that's what happens. They all grow. And then I took it to an Amish auction, and I figured maybe somebody wants to plant black walnuts somewhere. So I'll probably do that again. I probably got a bunch of black walnuts back there I got to clean up. We're going to also clean up the side property here. This is one of my rentals. It's not an Airbnb. It's a yearly rental. And so, and that's not my tenant back there. You're thinking I'm growing stuff in there. It's not. It's my tenant. He's got a lot of stuff, I guess. I don't want to know too much information. I don't want to know everything. But anyways, so this is the first day in the bucket garden, and you could see how easy this was. You put the tarps down, you buy the buckets, You put in your hose, and then add some dirt every year. And hopefully these buckets will last. These are mostly 1 year, and some are going on 2 years. We get a little crazy at some of the holes. We forgot to drill holes on bottoms of them, so then we made excessive holes on the side. So hopefully we didn't damage them too much. Anyways, hey, I have a lot of videos, mostly on home inspections. I've been doing that I'm an engineer, and I've been doing consulting on residentials for almost 40 years. So I got about 800 videos help you out with your house problems. I do also have a service if you have issues you can't deal with your homes, anything from environmental to mold to noise. I do a lot of forensics, and you could just go and Google, call Marko with a question, Marko with a question, call Marko with a question, and it'll prompt you to a $29 fee, and you get like 15 to 30 minutes. I do a couple a week, maybe sometimes more, but I will try to solve your house problem if nobody else can. Don't call me too much for gardening at this point, because everything is a trial for me, and I'm on my 4th or 5th year. So last year we did approximately 100 farmers markets. There's 2 of us, Jono and I. We split them up, and we do between 5. We were doing 5 to 6 a piece last year. It was crazy. And we did have to subsidize with some of our growing partners, because we had too much of this and not enough of that. So we did a little bit of that last year. Everything we do is organic. We don't spray. Matter of fact, we don't even use fertilizers. I never used fertilizers yet, so this year I may want to use it. We'll see. Generally, the soil that we use every year, I add horse manure and humus, leaf humus to it, and that pretty much works. So anyways, this is we have 4 or 5 gardens, so this is the second one I worked on one day, and I'm sure I got a lot of work here, but this is the first day. We cleaned up all the poles and filled up that thing with all the ivy, and we're getting going, man. It's January, February, March 30th, March 31st. We're right at the beginning of April, so time to get in your backyards, folks, especially if you live in the warmer climates. So hey, thanks for coming on. Please rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you.